Hello everyone, I'm Rick Hunter. I'm with SafetyInfo.com, and today our course is Fire Extinguisher Safety. We'll talk a little about fire protection, but a lot of times we will spend our course time in discussing fire extinguishers. Some of the things that we'll learn today is the types of fires, fire triangle, also the types of extinguishers and how to use a fire extinguisher, and we'll talk about the rules of the fire. There are 4 different types of fires. We know there are others, but there's basically 4 that we really deal with: a type A, a type B, type C, and type D. Now, typically most people are familiar with the ABCs. A is obviously wood, paper, plastic, rags, things of that nature. Class B would be your gasoline, oil, paint, grease, things like that. But when you get into Class C, you start talking about some of the electrical type fires, such as office equipment, motors, switch gears, heaters, things of that nature. But Class D, something a little different. We probably don't deal with that a lot, but that's when you get into your metals, your potassium, sodium, magnesium, aluminum, things of that nature. Now, when we come to a fire triangle, there are 3 components. You draw a triangle, and then you have air, fuel, and heat. And if you break out any one of those legs, then you extinguish the fire. Whether you take out the air or the fuel or the heat, any one of those will extinguish the fire. Now, we know the fire has to have oxygen. It's required, a required catalyst for it to burn or to have a fire. Then you have to have a fuel. Obviously, you have to have an ignition source, which is the heat. Can come from many different areas, whether it's a hot water heater somewhere or some kind of electric motor. It could be a number of different things that could cause a fire. Now, when we talk about the types of fire extinguishers, years ago we used a lot of the old halons, and you'll still find a few halon fire extinguishers around. But most of the fire extinguishers you see today are going to be your stand-up red canister, and if you look down the side, it will probably say ABC, covering the wood, paper, plastics, the fuels, oils, and also the electrical type fires. So keeping in mind, there's a certain type extinguisher for a certain type fire. But in the industry, we see under 29 CFR 1910-157, most of the fire extinguishers we're going to see today, the portable type fire extinguishers, will be listed as an ABC. Obviously, the A is the wood, paper, plastic. Again, B, fuels, gasoline, things of that nature. C, designed for the electrical fires, and a D class fire extinguisher would be sufficient for any type of metal fire. We teach the pass system when it comes to taking a portable fire extinguisher down. Take it down from the wall if you need it, or its hanger on the post. We call it the pass system, P-A-S-S. Pass stands for pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep. Pull the pin to be able to squeeze the handle of the fire extinguisher. And once you squeeze that handle, you will be able to discharge the fire extinguisher agent. Obviously, you want to aim the fire extinguisher, and you always aim at the base of the fire. Never aim up into the flames. It really won't do you any good. It'll just shoot right through the flames. But if you aim at the base of the fire, where the heat, fuel, and air is located, then you'll do some good. Then you want to sweep from side to side. So remember, pull, aim, squeeze the handle. Once the agent starts to discharge, sweep from side to side until the fire is extinguished. Now, we all know fires are very dangerous. Portable fire extinguishers are designed for inception stage fires only. That's right at the beginning. Once that fire starts to spread and move around and grow taller, the fire extinguisher may or may not do any good. And once you've used up your fire extinguisher, it's time to call 911 and go to your emergency evacuation plan. Your emergency evacuation plan tells you where to go and where to assemble and who does the head count and all that stuff to make sure that everyone is out of the building at that time. Pull the fire alarm if you have one, call 911, but be sure you assist anyone that's in danger. And you never fight a fire that you don't know what's burning. Sometimes you can look at a fire and you'll see the the purples and the greens and the yellows that are kind of intermittent in the flames. In most cases, it's off-gassing, and so that's something you want to be real familiar with, because if there's some kind of off-gassing there, that tells you there's some kind of volatile organic compound that may be in that fire that's off-gassing some kind of potentially dangerous vapor. So you really want to keep an eye on that. Never fight a fire if it's spreading beyond the inception point. We talked about that. The time to use a fire extinguisher is the inception stage only, and always have a way out. Don't get yourself cornered up, pull the pin, squeeze the handle, nothing happens. You always have an exit when you pick up a portable fire extinguisher. Always have a way out in case that fire extinguisher either isn't enough to put out the fire or it doesn't work. You need to be able to evacuate the building. Never fight a fire if you don't have adequate or appropriate equipment. If you don't have the correct type of or large enough fire extinguisher. Sometimes you see these little 2-pound, 5-pound, 10-pound. 2 pounds only going to last a few seconds. 5 and 10-pound obviously will last a little bit longer. Never fight a fire if you might inhale a lot of toxic smoke or a lot of smoke inhalation. And if the fire produces a large amount of smoke that you would have to breathe in order to fight, it would be best not to even try. Gases from man-made materials can be fatal in a very small quantity. One of them that comes to mind is a chemical called 1,1,1-trichloroethane. Trichloroethane is one of the chemicals that we talk about. The reason for that, it is an excellent cleaning agent. It's good for cleaning garments and things, and trichloroethane by itself is pretty calm type chemical. But if that chemical ever catches on fire, then it produces a vapor called phosgene gas, and once you inhale phosgene gas, that very mild chemical goes to what could potentially be very fatal chemical. So those are the types we're talking about. Never fight a fire if your instincts tell you not to. There's something to say about this old feeling right here, this gut feeling we always talk about. If you're uncomfortable with a situation for any reason, let the fire department do their job. Now, that's a pretty quick wrap on fire extinguishers, and if you have any questions, feel free to give us a call at SafetyInfo.com. Log on to SafetyInfo.com. There are a number of resources available to you for fire extinguisher type handouts for training, fire protection handouts for training, and then of course you're going to need a written fire prevention program, and all of that is located at SafetyInfo.com.